I came into contact with somebody from one of the big four, ended up becoming kind of a mentor to me. He's now a member of our club.
Man, when I first saw my first Hell's Angel standing there, I was like, that's what I want to be, man.
If you're running a three-piece, just like you know, it is truly an outlaw standard. Doesn't make you a one percenter, but it makes you an outlaw.
This is what I believe in, and it was awesome to see that my brothers believed in me.
It's the wolf leading the sheep, man. The sheep need to open their eyes because they're about to walk off the cliff where the whole other pack of wolves are at the bottom.
If you were getting your lunch money taken before you put them rags on, if they catch you by yourself, they're going to take your lunch money again.
I try to be around the guys and hang out with them as much as possible and get to know them, because that's really what it's about.
The Hells Angels are being arraigned.
One man was stabbed in the chest, another was knocked out, who faced criminal charges, including charges of hate crimes as well as gang allegations. One defendant faces an attempted murder charge. So this certainly appears to be a widespread investigation.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about the brutal beatdown that happened at a bar involving the Galloping Goose. A bunch of members were standing around him and explaining what allegedly happened, and the whole thing was caught on video. I could show you an edited version, but if you want to watch the whole video unedited, go check out Patreon. I can't play it on YouTube. It's too brutal. So before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's, brother's, sister's friend about Chatting with Staxx, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys taking the time to watch this show. It really means a lot to me. We're getting a lot of people watching the show. A lot of people are subscribing. And thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So we got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot going on. Let me see who we got in the building. New England Rider, what's going on, man? Greetings from cold, snowy New England. Definitely, it's brutal out there. Lindsay, how are you? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate everything you do for this channel. Go check out Patreon. I can't stress it enough. There's a lot of content on Patreon you can't see on YouTube. It's too brutal. But I do have a video for you guys, and we're going to cover what happened. STMC says it's cold here in South Louisiana. Probably not as cold as New England, though. And I hear it's only going to get colder. I heard an Arctic blast is on its way. And, but really far up north, it's supposed to get really warm. Like, something happened with the jet stream or something. It got cut in half, and there's like really warm air up north, and the cold air is down, and it's just weird. Everything that's going on is weird. People are in weird moods, and I think the whole world is going crazy. I think the world's going crazy. CMC, what's going on? Thank you for joining me today. Al Rose, what's good? Hello, brother. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing great. Shout out to BC, Canada. Shout out to everybody from Canada that watches. I really appreciate all you. Tommy, what's good? Thank you for joining me today. Can't want to. How you doing? Good morning. 19 here and the storm this weekend. 19. Damn, where you at? Billy, how you doing? Thank you for joining me today. I think it's probably in the single digits here in Connecticut. Nice and warm in northern BC, Canada. See? It's crazy. Crazy. The weather is insane. CT Illy is in the house. What's going on, CT Illy? So I got so many interviews dropping. I just finished uploading one. Matter of fact, I'm going to make it public for the members right after this stream. We got 46 people in the house. Hit that like button. Josh, what's going on? It's been in the 50s all winter long in Denver. That's weird for Denver, isn't it? It's supposed to get snow there and all that. Ontario is crazy cold. It is. It's really weird the way the weather's been acting lately. And it coincides with the people too, right? People been acting really weird, especially in Minnesota. If you guys don't know, I got the Minnesota candidate for governor. I interviewed him, and that interview is gonna be dropping on members right after this stream. And then I got Culture. If you guys don't know who Culture is, if you ever been in the street life and you know about prison and this and that, you know who Culture is from New York. And I interviewed him. We talk about a lot of stuff. He's been to prison, no money. He had to grind it out in prison. You know what I mean? He had to get it the hard way, or make people have a hard time doing their time in prison because he had to get it, you know? But we talk about all kinds of things. It's a really good interview. It's long. I interviewed Milk. Shout out to Milk from the Chosen Few Motorcycle Club over there in LA. That's where they originated, but he's in I think Arizona. Shout out to Milk. A lot of people know who he is. He's from Las Vegas and Minnesota. Shout out to him. That interview is going to be dropping. I got the real Donnie Wanch, Paul. Shout out to Paul. Real good friends with Harley Gwendon. Shout out to Harley. And we talk about all kinds of things. It's a really funny interview. And if you guys know who I'm talking about, this guy could be a comedian. He really could.
Hey, that's a great J. Donnie Watch here. And I'm chatting with Staxx.
And I got a bunch of other ones. Stay tuned for that one. And I got a bunch of other ones besides that. Like, I've been stacking up the interviews so that I could just be like, bam, hit you guys with a whole bunch. I got Jimbo. This guy Jimbo, he was in Brothers 8. If you guys don't know who they are, they're a motorcycle club affiliated with damn, I forgot the name. The Iron Horsemen. I think they're a support club for the Iron Horsemen. But I interviewed him. I got Rusty Dusty's interview dropping. That one's going to be dropping soon too. If you guys haven't seen the Yaki Lopez interview, check that out. We got tons of content on the way. But let's get to the topic at hand. CMC, what's going on? You should interview Banksy. Who's that? I've heard the name. Listen, if you guys got anyone that you would like me to interview and you have contact for them, hey, let's make it happen. Will, how you doing? Thank you for joining me today. Say what you will. Donnie had the balls to come on. No, he didn't. Donnie didn't come on. Donnie called me, and I recorded the call, like on video, you know? He called me. He didn't come on. He said he won't do an interview. That's what he said. Called me talking shit. But shout out to Donnie. I got nothing personal against any of these people, you know? This is just, oh, yeah, definitely heard of him before, CMC. I got nothing against Donnie. Yeah, he just called me talking shit. No big deal. Wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. I'm sure of it. But anyway, let's get to the content. We got a lot to talk about today. The streets are full today. So first, we're going to talk about this broad. If you guys don't know who she is in a world of trouble. Gunshots on the shoulder of the road. She shot at a motorcyclist in a confrontation. The confrontation lasted only moments, but the consequences will last far longer. For this woman, she allegedly pled guilty to firing a handgun at a motorcyclist's tires during a roadside encounter, what prosecutors say escalated from anger to gunfire in the blink of an eye. No one was struck by bullets, but the echo of this single shot now carries through the courtroom and into the community, reckoning how quickly a routine conflict can turn deadly. And I think people do things and then afterwards they're like, oh man, what did I do? You know, people react to things and I don't think they're ready for the consequences. So, according to court records, the incident unfolded when the woman and the motorcyclist became embroiled in a heated confrontation. The details, which investigators describe as volatile and repeatedly deteriorating, words were exchanged, tempers flared, and then authorities say the woman retrieved a firearm and fired at the motorcyclist's tires as the rider attempted to leave. The shot disabled the bike and sent the rider scrambling to safety. He survived physically unharmed, but prosecutors emphasized the outcome could have been way worse. A bullet aimed low could have ricocheted. The motorcycle brought down at speed can kill. And what was framed as a warning shot became the eyes of the law, a reckless act with potentially fatal consequences. In pleading guilty, the woman accepted responsibility for the moment that prosecutors say crossed a clear legal and moral line, firing a weapon during a dispute. They argued is not an expression of fear or frustration. It is an escalation that endangers everyone nearby. During the hearing, the courtroom was quiet as the charge was read out loud. There was no dramatic outburst, no denial, just steady facts and the unmistakable gravity of what's to come when violence is involved. However, it is distilled into the court records. Law enforcement officials used a case as a stark reminder firearms are not tools for setting arguments. Once again, once a gun is introduced into a conflict, one official noted there is no such thing as control. So they say don't even produce it. Sentencing is expected at a later date where the court will be weighed the seriousness of the offense and the absence of physical injury. But the case has already left its mark on the rider whose journey ended up with a gunshot. But he didn't get hit. So, I mean, maybe he's a little traumatized. So it ended with a gunshot, and now the town forced to confront how close it came to tragedy. On the quiet stretch of Tottentown, I don't know where the hell that is, a split-second decision transformed the argument into a crime. And in that instant, the distance between anger and irreversible loss proved to be wider than the pull of the trigger. So she is going to prison. And we just talked about this yesterday and the day before. The 5 suspects who plotted on the judge have been arraigned, and their bonds are in the millions of dollars. They are not messing with these people. This is one of the people. I have pictures of them in court. Here's another one. This is the main person. He is the one the case was about, the physical altercation, and they were going to prosecute him. He had a court date coming up the day after this situation happened with the judge. I don't know what he thought. Oh, we're going to go do this, and it's going to stop this from happening. No, it doesn't work like that. So this guy had a domestic violence case pending, and he gathered all these people together and plotted to eliminate the judge, allegedly. And this is the guy he brought to be the shooter. Then the other guy, I don't know what his involvement is. They got these little kids. Look at these little kids holding this dude. Like, those are little kids. To me, those are little kids, right? I mean, the one on the right looks like a little kid, the kid in the back, but the guy with the beard, I mean, looks more like a, probably handle himself, but these little kids, they're like little kids. What are these, trustees or some shit? People learning how to be cops? Like, is that what they're doing over there? Like, oh yeah, get to what do they even call those? Explorers, the police explorers. Get the police explorers to stand in back of this guy. They'll be able to control them. These kids look like they're 15, don't they? So this is the judge, and these people are in a world of shit. So bond set in the millions for suspects in attempted murder of Judge Mayer. 4 people have been charged in this. I think it was 5, but 4 out of the 5 people charged in the January 18th shooting were court at the first time on Wednesday. That was yesterday. 3 men charged with the attempted murder and a plot to attack Judge Meyer, Superior Court judge, and his wife, Kim Meyer, at their Lafayette home on January 18th, were ordered held on multi-million-dollar bonds during a series of initial hearings Wednesday before a special judge in Cass County. Cass Superior Court Judge Lisa Swam didn't go for the prosecutor's suggestion calling for a proposed $20 million bond security and $5 million cash bond. She called it excessive, even the charges as serious as conspiracy to kill a judge filed last week against Raylan Ferguson, Thomas Moss, and Blake Smith. So those are the 3 people. But there's 2 women that were charged with conspiracy, I believe. Like, so they helped them along the way somehow, I guess. But instead, Swam set bond at $4 million, $2 million, $4 million in cash, $2 million surety for Ferguson, the 38-year-old from Lexington, Kentucky, accused of firing rounds from a short-barreled shotgun through Mayer's front door in what investigators say was attempted to derail a criminal trial for Moss set to start 2 days later. Like, I don't know what this guy thought. So he thought they were gonna, this is the guy that fired the shot through the door, allegedly. I can't say that this is facts because it's not. This is just what they're saying. But they're saying that this guy hired the other guy to go there and do this. He fired a shotgun through Mayer's front door in what investigators are called an attempt to derail criminal trial for Moss, set to start 2 days later. Moss, 43, of Lafayette, Smith, 32, of Dayton, which would need to post $3 million in cash and $2 million surety bond to get out of jail before trial, which that's probably not going to happen. I don't think these guys are multi-millionaires, Ferguson, who asked the judge to make the prosecutor's 8-figure amount a lot lower, slumped in his chair when Swam announced his bond. The 3 also were ordered held so that they had no communication inside or outside of jail, beyond contact with their lawyers, so they can't even talk to their families. You see how that happens? They can do a court order where you can't talk to nobody. So they're just sitting in a cell. They don't have human contact with anybody. They ain't calling nobody. I guarantee you their mail is stopped, everything, because of the seriousness of this situation. A lot of states, they will hold you with no bond, so you won't even get a chance to get out until trial. That's what they do down in Florida quite a bit. They do it in a lot of different states. So Amanda Malslap, 45 of Lafayette will be held with a $500,000 cash, $1 million security bond. Swam ruled on the charges of bribery and obstruction of justice that prosecutors say played a role in the larger plot to shut down witness testimony in Moss's trial. So allegedly, she tried to somehow silence a witness, maybe tried to talk her out of testifying or something. A fifth person charge, the real weird looking one, charged in this case, Zeneda, Zendetta, really weird name, Greer, 61 of Lexington, Kentucky, is still awaiting her initial hearing. Greer was arrested in Kentucky and charged with assisting a criminal in an obstruction of justice and was, as of Wednesday, awaiting extradition to Tippecanoe. Is that how you say it? Tippecanoe County? Tippecanoe. Swanee set May 6th trial dates for Ferguson, Moss, Smith, and Mislip. They were scheduled for their next hearing on March 5th. So May 6th is their dates. But they have other hearings on March 5th. Swam appointed Indiana Supreme Court as a special judge on Monday and said she was still weighing whether the hearing would continue to be held in her home courtroom 45 minutes away from Lafayette. So that's crazy. I don't know. They did not say yet if the initial trial will still go on because, I mean, obviously this is probably a lot worse than what he was charged with first, right? But wouldn't that be wild if they dropped the other case? I mean, he got his wishes came true, I guess, right? So according to the probable cause affidavit filed last week, the charges Ferguson is accused of going in disguise to Mayer's front door on the afternoon of January 18th. Investigators say he knocked, telling Stephen Mayer that he was looking for a lost dog before firing a shotgun through the closed front door, hitting the judge in the arm and Kim Mayer in the hip. So they were both shot. Both are recovering from their injuries, with Stephen Mayer expected to face long rehab. Investigators say the plot revolved around Moss, identified as a high-ranking outlaw member of the Phantoms Motorcycle Club, who had been scheduled to face trial on January 20th, 2024. Charges, I guess, on the 2024 charges of intimidation, domestic battery, unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. He also faced charges of being a habitual offender. Oh, man. This guy's going to get life in prison. According to court documents, Mayer was rejected an attempt filed earlier January to postpone the trial, line up more than 50 jurors to report on Tuesday morning. The trial was postponed after the shooting in the court documents filed in an attempted murder case. Investigators say the victim in Moss' scheduled trial has been approached weeks earlier and offered $10,000 not to show up and testify. After January 18th shooting, police found items seen on the men who fired shots in the neighborhood property of Windy Hill Drive, around the corner from Mayer's Mill Pond Lane home, including a black and gray flannel, a scarf, earmuffs, a knitted beanie, black sunglasses, a retractable dog leash, and a silicone mask. Police say that they found a short-barreled shotgun with an obliterated serial number, which contained a discarded shotgun round in the chamber. So they left the round in the chamber. Court documents say Indiana State Police lab confirmed the DNA found on the discarded match has matched Ferguson. In court documents filed with the charges, investigators outlined how the same man seen on the surveillance camera footage the day of the shooting had to come to Mayor's Lafayette home 2 nights earlier, knocking late at night, claiming to have a food delivery. That night, according to court documents, Stephen Mayer never opened the door, instead telling the man he had the wrong address and that he hadn't ordered food. So that could have been his last day right there. So the man left the home in the Sawmill subdivision, shown in the video footage from the doorbell camera, carrying the bag from a local restaurant chain off Indiana 29 and a 2-liter bottle of soda, and walking with a distinct Gant, whatever the hell that means. In court documents, investigators say fake food delivery on January 16th, DNA from the discarded mask and other evidence helped lead to Ferguson and others. Here's how things played out on Wednesday in Cass County Superior Court 2. When the charges read for the 4 of the 5 accused, Raylan Ferguson, investigators noted several times in the charges the alleged shooter, Gant, was distinctive, but they didn't specify on how. Ferguson entered the courtroom Wednesday with a notable hunch in his stride, even considering the shackles on his ankles and wrists. Ferguson faces 10 charges, including attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, battery, intimidation. He requested a public defender, Thomas Moss. Moss appeared without an attorney and told Swam he planned to represent himself, though he confirmed with the judge that if he changed his mind, he wanted to hire a lawyer, he could. During his initial hearing Wednesday, Moss asked the judge how he could file to dismiss the 9 felony counts, including those for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and battery and intimidation. As far as the probable cause affidavit, Moss said, none of these things that were alleged that happened directly actually tied to me. Any of these incidents that occurred here, as far as anything pertaining to Colossum, me knowing about what's going on and the intentions of anybody after that, Swam told him he'd need to do that in writing, not during Wednesday's hearing. After running through a series of questions detailing whether Moss was prepared to defend himself, Swam asked whether he'd received threats if he hired an attorney or asked for a public defender. Has anyone said, if you have an attorney, we're going to be bad for you in some way? Swam asked. Moss paused for nearly a minute after he told her that he hadn't. Moss wiped his eyes several times with his hands and began to shake as he asked to sign what had been advised before. He waived his right to counsel. And then Blake Smith also faced 9 charges. Now, Blake Smith is this guy, the guy with the 2 kids in back of him. So Blake Smith also faced 9 charges. Investigators say Indiana State Police lab was able to recover enough of the serial numbers from the gun found in Mayer's neighborhood, linked it to the sale to Smith at a local gun shop on January 5th. Police say Smith also that day bought the same brand ammunition found chambered in the gun and its spent cartridge at Mayer's home. Police say surveillance footage of Smith buying the gun shows him in a black and gray flannel hooded sweatshirt, similar to the one they say Ferguson was wearing on the Myers porch and shed as they fled the scene. So he took off the hoodie that this guy was wearing. So he must have borrowed this guy's hoodie. Smith also requested a public defender, Amanda Melslap. That's this chick. And then we're going to get to the juicy stuff about this girl getting beat in the bar. And I got a video for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around. So Amanda Melslap. So Melslap, who is a mental health therapist, oh shit, who was once married to Moss, is accused of relaying the offer of $10,000 to the victim in Moss's trial if they wouldn't testify. Earl McCoy, Moss' attorney, argued that the probable cause affidavit laying out the broader plot to attack the judge contended that Melslap informed the witness about how Moss and the vice lords wanted to pay her $10,000 to keep quiet. McCoy argued that the vague charge wasn't enough to hold her before a trial. Informing somebody that somebody else may want to bribe them is not bribery, he said. I can't even tell you whether this was right jurisdiction or not. There is absolutely no other connection to my client in the horrendous acts that were taking place against the judge and his wife. Swam denied McCoy's motion, saying she disagreed with his interpretation of what the allegations fit and the definition of bribery. McCoy also argued for a bond lower than the prosecutors recommended, saying it just blows my mind to have requested a $1 million cash and a $10 million surety bond. Melslap testified that she had an offer to take a job in Georgia, but was blocked by the court order after Moss, the father of her grade school age son, argued to keep him in Indiana. She said that order in her therapy practice would keep her close ahead to trial. Swam said the prosecutor recommendation was too high. And also, I understand that it is a very serious allegation, McCoy said later outside the courtroom, that the $500,000 cash, $1 million surety bond was a kind to no bond. So they're saying, like, they can't get that either. That's just way too much. She will not be able to, under any circumstances, come up with $1 million, McCoy said. So I will let you guys know more information when it becomes available. It's a crazy situation. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's get to the real topic right here. So there's a bar. I think it's in, I don't want to misspeak, but the Galloping Goose. The video starts off like this, right? There's 3 Galloping Goose members and a supporter right there. They're all hanging out. I'm going to give you guys a little context on the video, and then I'm going to play it. So there's 3 members hanging out. There's maybe 1 member straggler around. So this woman, I think she might, don't quote me on this, but she might be the owner of the bar, maybe a co-owner. But this is the bar she always goes to. So she has interactions with these people in the past. Like, she's spoken to these people. So she comes walking up, and some words are exchanged, I think. One of these guys comes around the table and just grabs her and throws her on the ground and starts, like, dinging her in the head a couple times, right? And then some other guy, like, kind of briefly tries to stop it. He doesn't have a cut on. And she gets up and goes over to the bar. So that stops that interaction, right? But so she goes in, sits at the bar. The guy follows her. This is the picture right here. He follows her to the bar and she's sitting at the bar, obviously, with her back. I don't know what words were exchanged. There's no audio in the video. And he just starts pummeling her. Obviously, I can't play the unedited version on YouTube, but I got an edited version for you guys. So let's check it out. It's crazy. So this is how it starts. They're all sitting around. I think there's 4 members and a supporter, right? But one of them, I think, is a prospect. Hey, Kurt, what's going on, man? Get out your feelings. What's going on? I thought he was in a clubhouse. No, it's in a bar. It's just a regular bar. Everyone knows. Taco, what's going on, man? Everybody knows that there's cameras in bars. Like, you can't do this type of shit in bars. Virginia Chaos is in the building. What's going on? Roy, what's up, man? Thank you for joining me today. Frederick's in the house. Social Rejects, what's up? Shout out to Frederick, man. Thank you for joining me. Mountain Woman's in the building. Mike, what's good, Mike? Thank you for joining me. I'll find out the state right now. Hold on. Let me find out. Here she comes, right? She's just chilling. She goes up to the table, and I'm going to tell you why allegedly this happened. See the guy going around, the guy in the white. He's not doing nothing, but this guy comes around, grabs her, and throws her on the ground. And then this is pretty much over, right? It's a little pushing and shoving, right? I don't know exactly where this took place. All right, so they're at the bar, right? Having a conversation. I don't know exactly where this took place. I know there's cameras everywhere. You can't do this type of stuff. Look at the bartender. She looks like a little nervous, right? And you can see when this stuff happens, right? When hey, Jake, what's going on, man? 260 Jake. When the beatdown starts to go, right? The bartender, she wants to call 911, but she doesn't. No, that's not his girlfriend or his wife. Nope. So it's alleged, from what I hear, is that they're saying that she took a member's motorcycle, and sold it. She's like, her comment was, I have my motorcycle. She doesn't even know what they're talking about. They're saying, and this guy is a high-ranking member, allegedly, with the Galloping Goose. That's why none of the other members stepped in to stop it. Watch the bartender. So he's putting his finger in her face. He's saying stuff, right? Boom, it just kicks off. And I can't show you that, but look at the bartender. Look at the bartender. And then look at this old dude. He stands up. He looks. He tries to stop it. I think he has a support patch on, right? He has a Galloping Goose support patch on his chest. But this dude's just pummeling her at the bar. Just look at the bartender. And she's like trying to get it to stop. She's yelling, banging on the bar. She's like, stop, stop. Look at her. She wants to do something, but she can't. There's nothing she can do. She wants to, and then I think it's a prospect that stops him. She just balls up. Because you can see this guy right here on the right, he doesn't have the whole center patch, right? He only has the outside ring kind of Galloping Goose. I don't know if you can read. I think that says Galloping Goose probationary. But they're alleging that this woman stole a bike or somehow was in possession of a bike and sold it. But she says that never happened. She doesn't even know what they're talking about because I can't play it on YouTube. If you want to see the video, you got to go on Patreon. YouTube will not let me play this type of content. Sorry, man. Can't do it. But this is how it starts. Yeah, I would play it for you if I could, but I can't. I already I know the rules over here on YouTube. I've been dealing with it for a while, so you can't just play whatever you want. Other people do it, but they get they ain't trying to run a tight ship, you know what I'm saying? But I got another video. I can't. She goes in there like nothing. Everything's good, right? All of a sudden. Now I'm gonna let you hear exactly. So he didn't get arrested, but I think I think they have a case on him. Now I got a audio I'm gonna play you from the woman herself. Let me see if I can find it. Are you ready for the audio? No, I'm gonna put this link for this that I'm playing you over here. I'm gonna put this link in the description of this video. You guys want to go subscribe over on Facebook? Hold on a minute. Let me try to get this fucking audio.
Elizabeth, why didn't anybody help you?
Maybe their own fear.
Good morning, Picayune. This is David with Picayune Now with an exclusive 3-part report on the incident.
Picayune Now. Go subscribe to Picayune Now.
That happened at the Moonshine and Whiskey Bar on November 22nd. On November 22nd, a local woman was attacked inside the Moonshine and Whiskey Bar in Picayune, Mississippi. Surveillance video was obtained by Picayune Now and contains the shocking
Mississippi. This happened in Mississippi. This happened last year.
footage of the victim being attacked by a member of the Galloping Goose Motorcycle Club. The victim, who everyone knows as Mojo, sustained a skull fracture and several other lacerations while other members of the club watched. One brave patron initially attempted to de-escalate the situation and was also assaulted. The victim was escorted to the hospital immediately afterward. This violent video is hard to watch, and if you are squeamish, I strongly recommend you do not watch it. Several attempts have been made to members of the local Galloping Goose Motorcycle Club for comment, but they have all declined. The owners of Moonshine and Whiskey have been very cooperative with law enforcement and very sympathetic to the victim. They have also granted us a full interview and have answered all of our questions. This is a 3-part series. This is part 1.
No, hold on. I'm waiting for it to go back on. They're playing the video. But I'll play the audio when it goes back on. Look at the bartender. She just looks like, damn, she wants to stop it, but she can't. She said that she didn't do that, man. She said that never happened. She said that absolutely never happened, Ken. But that's what they said, you know? Hold on, they're gonna come back again and say some more stuff. I'm waiting for it. Dude fractured her skull. I mean, if you guys want to go watch it, go to Patreon and check out Patreon. And you guys can see the whole video unedited now.
Elizabeth, why didn't anybody help you?
Maybe their own fear of things. I don't understand that myself.
Kirk, if you've got something to add, you
No, it's definitely fear. They're
fear of what?
The guy
fear
who
of the
beat
guy
them.
that was there because the guy's been more of a ranking person in that club and is way further up in the club than any of these guys, and so they're made to back the patch. You know,
Yeah.
but yet
Push
they
each
should have
other
stepped
down a
in.
place.
That was excessive. They should have stepped in to protect him from himself. You know,
Sure.
and not just protect her, but protect him and stop the situation. But that didn't happen. They were too scared and didn't know what to do. But that isn't it. That isn't a fact that it should happen. If you're that scared, you shouldn't be in there. You shouldn't be a patch holder. You shouldn't be part of it.
What's right is right.
And what's right's right, and what's wrong's wrong, and they were wrong. All of them was wrong, and all of them needs to be freaking held accountable.
Everyone.
It took my breath away that nobody
I'm furious.
stepped in.
It made people sick to their stomach to watch.
I'm furious. I'm sick over this because none of this should have ever happened. There's nothing there, nothing, and no reason why they can't give me enough. There's not enough explanation going around that it could say that this was supposed to happen.
There's no explanation going around. There's no explanation.
No way. I don't care what she called them. I don't care if she come walk in and call because that's what people say. What conversation? What was the conversation?
Nobody deserves that.
Well, let's stop this right now because there was no conversation beforehand.
No.
And there should not be no reason, even if there was, and she called, there was no reason in hell for any of this to take place. So they need to stop it right now. And they don't hold their guys accountable. They're all fixing to be held accountable one way or the other.
So that's a wild situation. Yeah, you really don't hear about them too much. I mean, we did hear about that one situation where the daughter, there was one in Missouri, I believe it was, with, I think it was the Galloping Goose, where one of the high-ranking members was arrested. He got caught with a cache of things. But you rarely hear about these guys in the news. It's just pretty wild, crazy shit. But I have spoke to the woman, and she said she would do an interview. So we'll see what happens. If I get her on, I'll let her explain the story and see what happens. All right. So in other news, hold on, let me see here. The Thug Riders are back in the news. So the Thug Riders, what's next for the 14 members of the motorcycle club accused of federal crimes? January 28th, a trial is pending for members of the Thug Riders motorcycle club accused of conspiracy to commit violent crimes in Ohio and Kentucky. The gang's trial, it's a motorcycle club, but this is what they're saying in this article. The gang's trial is scheduled to start on October 20th, but has been rescheduled, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. 14 members of the club were charged with a combination of racketeering, conspiracy, assault, and attempted assault charges. As of January 28th, 11 members have pled guilty. And I'm not going to read off all these names. You guys have seen over the past, whatever it is. A lot of them have been sent to prison already. It says Marshall was sentenced to 51 months in prison, 3 years supervised release. Henry was sentenced to 30 months in prison, 3 years supervised release. Rader was sentenced to 15 months in prison, 1 year probation. Hutton was sentenced to 18 months prison, 1 year probation. Hawkins sentenced to 3 years in prison, 3 years supervised release. Brandon Fisher was changed his plea, is scheduled for a hearing on October 7th. John Smith had changed his plea, is set for a hearing November 10th. But the outcome of the hearings were unavailable as of January 28th. Now, those hearings were last year, but they still don't know the outcome of them. very weird that they're not telling you what happened. So the Thug Riders are accused of participating in violent crimes in Dayton, Huber Heights, Harrison Township, Springfield, Logan County, London, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky. The Thug Riders were reportedly involved in a deadly shooting at 43-year-old Joseph Nicholson in Harrison Township, September 26, 2021. Also allegedly had shootouts and gunfights with other motorcycle clubs in Springfield and Lexington, Kentucky, according to federal court records. Members detonated an explosive device a former member's truck in Huber Heights in May of 2021 after the former member left the club without paying the $1,000 exit fee and didn't surrender their motorcycle. Robles helped create the Dayton chapter of the Thug Riders, was the Midwest regional boss at the time of the indictment, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Other leaders are Marshall, Ingalls, Fisher, Reese, Peters, Beach, and Smith reportedly held leadership roles. So I'll bring you guys more information as it becomes available. A lot of people already pled guilty and are in prison serving their prison sentences. But they still do have some people that are not pleading guilty and are going to maybe take it to trial. I mean, it's really hard when you got other people trying to throw you under the bus, you know what I'm saying? So in other news, this is a wild story, and this isn't in the U.S. This is over in China. We're going to China today, folks. Let me see if I get this picture for you guys. This is a wild story, and it involves the mafia over in China. Let's see if I get this picture for you guys. Hit that like button. I don't think I can get the picture. I think it's a different kind of format. But anyway, China executes 11 members of the Myanmar scam mafia. They've executed them. What? China has executed 11 members of the notorious mafia family that ran scams. Meyer among the northern eastern border, state media reports. The Ming family members were sentenced in September to various crimes, including homicide, illegal detention, fraud, operating gambling dens by court in China, Xinjiang province. The Mings were one of many clans that ran the town of Luqing, transforming of an improvised backwater town into a flashy hub of casinos and red light districts. So they took their money and turned their town into something to go to. Their scam empire came crashing down in 2023 when they were detained and handed over to China by the ethnic militants and had taken control of Luqing. During the escalation of their conflict with the Mayor Army. These executions, Beijing is sending a message to the defiance to would-be scammers. But the business is now moved to Mayor's border with Thailand and Cambodia and Laos, where China has much less influence. Hundreds of thousands of people have been trafficked and run online scams in Mayor and elsewhere in Southeast Asia. According to the estimate by the UN, among them are thousands of Chinese people and their victims who they swindle billions of dollars from, mainly Chinese too. Frustrated with the Mayor militants' refusal to stop scam business, from which it almost certainly profiting from, Beijing tactically backed the offensive by the ethnic insurgent alliance in the Shan state In late 2023, the alliance captured significant territory from the military and overran Laking, a border town. Who are the Ming family? The 11 members of the Ming family are the first of the mayor's scam bosses to be executed in China. So I'm going to show you guys a picture of them. That's crazy. Like, these guys go to these guys, they are not playing games with these people. They're trying to send a message so that people don't do it, you know? That's basically what they're saying. They're trying to scare people from doing the same thing, so they want to send a clear message so that other people don't take that same route. If you haven't subscribed to Patreon, make sure you check out Patreon. There's a lot of good videos over there. And I'm going to be dropping the new video with the person running for governor, Brad Collier. That interview's dropping right after this is over, so go check that out. Look at these guys. They're standing there pretty defiant. I mean, it's their last day on Earth, right? So this whole family, all these people have been put down, basically. And you know they don't do it in a good way. The 11 members of the Ming family are the first mayor scammers boss to be executed in China, but they will not be the last. 5 members of the Bai family were also sentenced to death in November, and the trials of the 2 groups of defendants from Wei to Li families have not yet concluded. The Ming family trial was held behind closed doors, although more than 160 people were allowed to attend their sentencing hearing last year, including families of the victims. Ming family scam operations and gambling dens brought in more than 10 billion yuan between 2015 and 2023, according to China's highest court, which rejected their appeals in November. Their crimes resulted in the deaths of 14 Chinese civilians and injured many others, the court said. More than 20 others from the Ming family were given jail sentences in September, ranging from 5 years to life. Ming Xing, the clan's patriarch, unalived himself in 2023 while trying to avoid detention. Mayors of military had said back then that the confession of those who were arrested were aired on state media documentaries and emphasized Chinese authorities' resolve to re-educate scam networks. The Ming were among handfuls of godfathers in families who rose to power in Laking in the early 2000s. This was after the town's then warlord was ousted in a military operation led by Ming Hu, who became the leader of the Meyerman military government in 2021 coup. The head of the family, Ming, ran one of the most infamous Laking scam centuries. Crouching Tiger Villa, the first gambling prostitution were main source of income for these families, but they eventually started online fraud. Staff mostly of people who were kidnapped and forced to run these scams within the walls of sprawling, well-guarded compounds was a culture of violence. Beatings, torture were routine, according to testimony collected from the freed workers. So they were bad people, and it's pretty wild stuff. They do stuff a little different in China, and they try to deter people from committing more crimes. But it's crazy stuff out there. There's a lot more content on the way. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this show. We're going to be talking about Australia tomorrow. There's so much stuff going on out there. Make sure you guys check out bradkohler.com. He's the guy running for governor, former UFC fighter, crazy fighter. I put that fight on Patreon too. Go check it out. Let me check the comments. What happened to Sonny? I don't know. Hopefully he's doing good. Crazy Chuck, what's going on? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Craig, what's up? I don't know. I haven't talked to Sonny. Why would Bernie ever be involved with something like that? He gets silenced the way he did. Some bad charge. I don't know. Oh, come on, man. I got time for this shit. Shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch. Yeah, he is. I don't know who that is. I don't care. Dr. Mitty, you little bitch. Dr. Mitty, come to the front of the motherfucking line. Oh. I don't know you. I don't know you. Andy, what's going on? Thank you for joining me. We got the best chat in business. Hopefully these little scumbags got what they wanted. They came here and got what they wanted. Richard, what's going on? I love what you're doing, Staxx. Thank you, Royal. Appreciate you. I very much dislike this guy. Always tripping. I don't know who he is, and I don't care who he is. Randy, what's going on? I don't give a flying fuck. I will. I don't care. Good for him. Again. I don't got time for people like that. Listen, I'm on are you going to talk about the Banditos? What about them? I talked about them the other day. Audio's wonky. Yeah, this shit's been fucking acting up lately. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Can you hear me? I already talked about that yesterday, Bella. Go check it out. I think it was yesterday. I played a video and everything. But thank you guys for joining me today. I really appreciate you. If you guys like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's brother, sister's friend about Chatting with Staxx, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.